Hi, my name is Ruchira. I'm a journalist and a food blogger. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a very simple sweet tart dough crust. It's going to take just about 5 minutes and it's going to take 4 ingredients. So just watch out for the recipe. So for my simple sweet tart dough, you need 4 ingredients. 1 whole egg, half a cup of icing sugar, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour or maida, 225 grams of very cold butter. Now you have a choice to use salted or unsalted butter. I'm going with salted. So I'm going to start the process with serving all of the flour and the icing sugar together. This is just hastening the procedure, nothing else. Otherwise, you can just clank it against the bowl and it'll drop down very easily. Once the icing sugar and the all-purpose flour mix together, drop down all your butter, all. And make sure the butter is really cold, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Use your fingers and mash down the butter till it incorporates completely. It should look like, thick breadcrumbs, and you shouldn't be worried about the butter lumps because it'll just add to your taste of your tart. I read something in a Jamie Oliver book once about hot hands. They say that if you have very hot hands, then you should just plunge your hands into a bowl of ice cold water when you're making tart dough, because when your butter is cold and your hands are cold, you get flaky and really lovely pastry. So as you can see, this is now coming down to a coarse texture, which is great because you just want to bring it all together. If you can see, it's all coming together like this. I'm going to add a whole egg. Now this recipe is a Dory Greenspan recipe where she suggests that you add just the egg yolk. But I think a whole egg works really well because, I think the egg white binds it a little bit better than just the yolk. Once this is done, don't rub it down, don't knead it, just sort of bring it together. That's all you need to do, bring it all together. The dough is going to be very sticky and it's going to be difficult to handle, but don't knead. You'll want to knead it, don't knead it. Okay, this is done. So I'm just bringing this dough together for a minute just to make sure that nothing is remaining down. And I'm going to take a tart shell. I've taken a smaller tart shell. This dough is good for a 9-inch tart shell, but I'm going to get in these 2.5 inches, I will get 6 pie shells. All you have to do is press it down so that the flute comes through. You don't have to chill this dough. You don't have to wait for it to cool down. All you do is press it down. Once you've pressed this down, you must freeze this dough because this will ensure even baking later on, and it will also make sure that you get very lovely flaky pastry. So I'm going to freeze this for about half an hour. I'm going to cover it with a little bit of foil and freeze it. So as you can see, this is the frozen pie dough, and the foil should come off very easily. And as you can check out how firm it is, my fingers are not going through. So at this point, you can bake this at 200 degrees for half an hour, or you can blind bake it for 20 minutes, like with the foil on, and then for another 10 minutes without the foil at 200 degrees centigrade. So these are baked pie crusts. You have to let them rest for at least 20 minutes before you take them out of the tin, and you can feel how firm they are, and you can see the flutes, which are really important. That's the shape of the tin that we got. Now I'm going to fill these up with some lemon cream which I have lying with me. Otherwise you can fill this up with jam or chocolate ganache or just liquid chocolate, or you can just put fresh fruit and some whipped cream. In my tart, I'm just adding a little bit of homemade lemon cream, which is another version of the lemon curd actually, but more for that later. And I'm going to top it with some fresh strawberries. The thing is, once you fill these tarts, you need to know you have to consume them within a day. So here's my recipe for the sweet tart dough. If you like this recipe, do subscribe to India Food Network and do send us feedback.